kept thinking, Pompeii it looked like.
The satellite
One of those
images
things.
are
You
impressive.
live next to a volcano.
Well, that's under the sea. It's not like you can say, there it is. Like Vesuvius, you can.
Good, how are you?
You know it's
See that
there.
one coming.
Yeah, right.
Let's
You
do
know how
it.
your island got there? The volcano made it.
Surprise. Yeah. Okay. You don't mind if we start a minute and a half early? We
I
gotta
got 5 on the dot, Carolyn.
Okay,
No, that's-
excellent.
That's wrong.
We call to order the Washington Historic Preservation Commission meeting on Tuesday, January 18th. And we'd like to start with roll call. The press has arrived.
Carolyn Witt,
Here.
Steve Struber,
Here.
Ryan Bogue, Rick Hopp,
Here.
Jamie Holtmeyer,
Here.
Andrew Clary,
Here.
Tyler King,
Here.
Joe Holtmeyer,
Here.
Greg Scornia, Sal Maniaci,
Here.
Tom Melvin.
Okay, if you'd like to rise and join me for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Our new business revolves around two demolition requests that, being in the historic district, has to be reviewed by us. And Sal, if you will.
Yep, let me pull up the first one here. I don't see, Jamie, are the pictures saved on here?
They're in the email.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they're on the email. Can you read that screen down there clearly?
No.
No? Okay, thank God.
Tyler had very kindly contacted, Tyler had contacted the Historic Preservation, the Washington Historical Society, and Katie Dickhouse did some research on
Okay.
these houses and had approximate how old they were, but they had so many rental and ownership had changed quite a lot that she really couldn't track it back to any historically significant thing. But I thought.
If you
when
need me
were
to
looking-
read anything, I can.
Yeah.
I have that email
It's
pulled
very
up.
short, but go ahead, Sal. I just was
Well,
taking
yeah, I
time
mean,
while
you
you were
guys-
pulling it up.
Go ahead. We are at, the first one's 118 East 4th, so just down the street from here, and it is directly next to Harmony House. It shares that parking lot. And so we have some photos here. I believe the proposed use is Airbnb?
Yes.
Or once it's demo and then rebuilt, so, and then you can see here, these were emailed out. It's in pretty poor condition on the inside.
Rim.
And like Tyler said, we always reach out to Historic Preservation, or the
Historical Society.
the society on any significance to the building and past uses and everything like that. So we did not hear back from anything on any significance to it. It's been a rental. It was built in 1894.
Built circa 1860.
60.
First appeared on the Sanborn map in 1908. You just want me to read this?
Yeah, go ahead.
The facade porch is probably not original to the building. It is her understanding that the last owner, Holt Gruy, worked at Missouri Meerschaum for many years. Prior to that, she confirmed it was a rental as far back as 1931. So that's what I have on 118 East 4th.
I imagine the value's in the land because it's a good location for downtown.
That's exactly it.
So, are there any discussion on this?
Are you thinking, when you say demo, like all of it, or just the additions, or all of it?
It's all gotta go. We actually had a structural engineer come in and look at it. He didn't even, actually, he's looked at a bunch of properties for me over the years, and he didn't even charge me for it because he goes, Jeb, he goes, how you have to do, you have to put steel underneath it all lifted up, and there's so much inflection from the foundation down below, and all the interior walls are solid masonry. He goes, I don't think you can lift it up without it all.
It would all break.
But we're actually gonna save certain pieces out of it for the historical preservation of it, which I love, because that's kind of what drew the house anyway, the big tall ceilings of it anyway, but the
Yeah.
land value was the most thing. But there are there are a few things, I'm not saying much, but there's a few cool things, some big trim pieces, just, probably some brick that we'll be able to salvage from the interior walls that we use for the next project that goes on that property.
That's good. If there are no further discussion, we can take a motion.
I motion.
We have a motion to approve the review and the demo.
I'll second it.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for going through the hoops. I mean, I appreciate that Sal keeps an eye on these things.
Absolutely.
And-
If there's any information you have as far as the historic, significance of it or anything, I'd love it if you email me. We have a couple ideas in mind that I'll have to share with you guys later that I think will be really neat with this property. But anything, even if it's just, a couple paragraphs that you guys have found.
Yeah, the short paragraph that Katie sent me, I'd be happy to send you over. I mean, what I just read there, that's what she sent me.
There's
So.
not much, but we're doing some stuff on the inside of the next project. We don't have a total scope of it yet, but, anything I think is gonna be neat.
That's always good to hear,
Yeah.
because even if you can salvage something from it to carry on, that's
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not much, but there are.
No,
there are
that's
a few- there are a few neat pieces.
a little better than nothing, so.
Carpet looked pretty good.
Oh,
Yeah,
What's
save
your
that.
address? We'll drop it.
Yeah, right.
I'm like a block away. So, no.
Bring you guys out sometime. I'll find something to do.
No, we've walked by that place for 13 years, and I think the outside, there's so much charm, that dental work on the front and the ends of the building, but you can see the saddle and the roof from the outside, so we knew there.
Shame somebody didn't do something with it 50 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks for being here.
Anything else from me, you need?
No, that's it.
I got another appointment, so I'm.
You're done, you're done.
Thank you.
Thanks. See you, Jeb.
Okay. We have 206 West Fourth,
Yep, so
the other
this is
direction.
other side on Fourth Street. I believe both of these properties were under the same ownership. So previously, they both recently bought, and so just kind of cleaning up some, some dilapidated buildings downtown. And so again, we reached out to Historical Society, no real significance to it. I know Tyler's got the review and he forwarded that to everybody. I don't have pictures on the inside of this, but I know it's been condemned. And we've had our building department has been inside. It would not pass inspection and it would need a lot of work. And so we really have kind of the same comments here. But Deb Giffen is here as well, and I don't know if she's willing to share kind of what the plan is with everything.
We're here tonight to present the demolition.
Can you come up to the mic, please?
Yeah, sorry, I know
we
it's
should
hard for you. We should have done that for Jeb.
Okay.
We're here tonight to present just the demolition. We're not fully prepared on the rebuild, but we will take the entire building down. Bill Coleman's with me. We'll take the building down, and our intent is to do commercial there. And part of that, I can disclose, will be kitchen share space. So we're excited about that.
Nice.
We're working with ECC. They connected us with a company that can actually design the kitchen and provide the commercial equipment for us. So super excited.
Nice.
That is.
Great.
Wow. Well,
obviously, when we
I knew
get
when I
the-
saw that it was close to you, I thought, there was a plan here somewhere. So,
Obviously, when we get the building permit for the new construction, we'll bring that forward to everybody to review as well.
that's great.
There was even less information on this house here.
Yeah.
First appeared on the 1893 Sanborn map. Don't have a construction date. It's been a rental also since 1931 is the information I was given. So, same kind of situation.
Roger wasn't born then. I don't think, is there any discussion on this? Does anybody
I
have
think-
anything to contribute?
When do we think the siding was at, in 70s? 70s on the stone facade on the front?
Yeah, I doubt that's original, so I don't know if there's really anything significant there, but.
If we find something that's significant, it'd be nice to put it in a new project.
Sure.
Or something out of it.
It may not be, it'd be a challenge, yeah.
You might find something hidden in
right.
the walls or something.
We hope not.
Where you find something?
Might be $1 million.
Hey, yeah, you never know.
It may not be liquid yet, but there's maybe something.
Ooh. Okay, well, thank
we'll make-
you.
I'll motion we issue a certificate of review.
I can second.
We have a first and second, motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. And thank you very much. And really, it is good that some of these properties that are past, they need to move on. And, I mean, historic preservation is only to a point. I mean, we live across the street, or we're right across the street from a success story.
Right.
But they're not always salvageable.
Yep.
so.
Well, and, once you get, there's only so much we can really offer when it comes to incentives on that, like we mentioned last time. Think about it, we've had 3 in a month, 3 demos, but that is I mean, we haven't had some in quite some time, so it's not like
Absolutely.
they're
It's been a
coming in
long
all the time. I think we've done a good job of pushing preservation when
Right.
possible.
When it's needed.
Yeah. And if we don't have programs to really help, I don't think we can really
No.
expect property owners to
No.
sink to help.
Well, and
Try and
these
save it.
are not for parking lots. This isn't, this is, people have plans.
Yeah.
And I think that is a really big thing. They're being replaced, they're not being, a parking lot provides nothing in the way of tax support or any contributing to the economy, relatively speaking. And yet, these are great projects that we're moving into, so.
Well, and the fact that this is, you can see in the application, obviously the property owner, they own, Deb owns next door, so I think it opens up the opportunity for a nice redevelopment of the whole intersection, really.
Absolutely.
Yes,
So.
yes. Okay. I know we didn't have minutes this time, but we'll get those at a later date, which is not a problem. You had issues, so that's not a big deal. Do you want us to go through I don't think there's really anything we can,
The only update I have on potential grants is, we have budgeted for city, to have a matching fund for historic preservation grant. We have hit our 1 year on the shoe factory district, and so we can apply for that. I will say administration has shown some interest in we may be able to apply for 2. I don't know. I don't think you can have 2 open ones, of designated district for the main park district, main park area for the old pool house, the pavilion, and the auditorium, because they're all built with New Deal money. And according to SHPO, that right there can qualify you as a district, just when you have structures that were built with that program. We are going to have to weigh that on both sides of which ones we want, because with the International Shoe Factory District, that doesn't expire. You could always bring that back up. There are plans to renovate a portion of some of those buildings for maybe some parks office or insulate
city auditorium?
the auditorium. And so we're kind of looking at what the best use of our matching funds are for that. And on the opposite side of that, we are waiting to hear back from SHPO of what improvements we can even do to those buildings once we get that designation. There are some ideas, like I said, for improvements to those where it would still match the historic integrity, but maybe not to historic tax credit standards. So once you put in that district, the whole point of putting in the district is that we could apply for more grants to renovate them. But if it doesn't allow us to put offices in there or cut a new door or something, we may not apply for it at all
Right.
on the
Because
new
we
deal.
want it to be usable.
Yeah.
I was so thrilled that at least they kept the pool house. Because,
Yes.
it's not usable for in this whole new complex, but boy, I'd hate to lose that
Yeah.
because
There are some.
WPA things were
Yeah.
built like bricks, so, I mean,
There's some ideas to, I know Parks has looked at possibly doing some really nice offices there right now they're in the basement and they don't have a ton of space, so, but our consultant that did all of our energy efficiency report for City Hall and the auditorium has already kind of warned us that they've ran into that before, where a city gets it designated as a historic district, and then they can't do the improvements they want to do because it's on that national district.
Right.
And I think with our board and council, we could preserve the historic integrity still to the level that we want, while still allowing to get, an efficient use. So we're kind of mulling that over. Our match on that, 12,000, I think, on either, wouldn't matter. It's a $20,000 grant to get the process started on either. So kind of weighing that. Those aren't due till September.
Good.
Yeah, pre-submittals in August, and then you submit in September, so we have time. But we've started kind of looking at that with Parks and that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I know Marlon has kind of talked to Ziegler and I think B&J on finishing the sign out at the cemetery. Again, we had gotten donations to do the monument, not on the educational side. And so if again, we have matching funds, and then we have some for training and plaques that probably at our next meeting in a couple months, we'll be able to sit down and decide if we want to maybe just go ahead and get that plaque ordered. I think it was $1,200. And so if we say, hey, we're not gonna, utilize training reimbursement, let's just get that sign paid for. That's probably what I would recommend, but I'm gonna get a final bid. But we were told $1,200 about a year ago. So that'll
That'd be good. That'd be good.
plan. So we request money each year, so if we don't spend it, we're not gonna get funds.
Exactly,
So-
exactly. And one thing with the city, you have to, if you're gonna ask for money, you gotta, I learned that in the library, you buy books. So, well, you don't need money next year. You had more money than you could spend this year. That never happened.
Well, and, pre-pandemic, we were going to more trainings and utilizing the
Yes,
hotels and all that, and
our options
obviously,
are a lot
now they're
limited.
they're opening them all up. I mean, the one in May, they've already said is gonna be, the one that in Jeff City that we've typically spent the most money on, is already gonna be opened up for virtual, thank you. So,
Right,
that may save us $1,200 to spend on
and other stuff.
another sign, so.
Yeah, that's a good thing. And we were involved in that from the beginning, so that's a good thing to spend
Yep.
money on.
And we have, I think, most of the information we want on there already.
Yeah,
Mark
Mark
Hauser.
had it laid out.
Yeah, we just need to kind of get some images get it laid out of what we want it to look like. So the hard part's done when it comes to getting the information. We just need to get it in the ground, so.
That's always good to hear. That infamous hard part is, done. That's good. Okay, I don't think any conferences necessarily. They are still planning on a National Main Street in Richmond?
Richmond, yes, that is the week of May, I want to say like 17th, 18th, 19th, somewhere around there. It's a week before Wine Fest, so we'll be very busy that week.
Ouch, yes. Why we were so lucky the year they were in Kansas City, it was in March.
Yeah.
And that was the only break we've ever had.
Yep.
But anyway, and that is a conference that has things we could tie into. Historic preservation is part of their umbrella. So if anybody is interested in that, I know I may be interested in that. And it's awfully nice if if we could pay our commission paid registration fees, just that is enough. The transportation or lodging is the kind of, that's a big chunk for registration. So if anybody's interested, we could, there's more information out there, especially as it gets closer. I know curb appeal, this is the wrong time of year, really. Winter is not a good time to take pictures. Creating new history, we have creating new history all around us all the time. And we just kind of got a budget report.
Yeah, we haven't spent anything since the last meeting.
Right, and I know the plaques are still on hold. Better to spend the money on the sign. And the Calvin Theater,
No real update. I mean, Tyler and I have met with them. It seems still very optimistic,
Got roofing material delivered.
Yeah, and so they're moving forward with
These
the.
are good things,
Yeah, they've
yes.
moved forward with what they said they were gonna move forward already. Like what they said in the paper, applying for state and federal tax credits isn't quick, so they gotta get that in line, and, we had a very productive meeting with them, but it's just gonna take time before we can,
yeah, but
we're on paper.
we're off dead center, so this is good.
yeah.
That's exciting. Okay. I love when it's on the agenda and there's actually positive things to say, because it's not been the case. If you notice, Jamie's got our next scheduled meeting, since we've met like the last 3 months, we're going to, rather than have February would be our normal quarterly meeting. That's the word I was looking for. So we're going to skip to May.
Okay.
May 16th.
Did that gentleman still plan on coming in?
I don't think so. I've heard from him recently again, that Ed guy, and it's up to him. I gave him the information, and if he wants to come and vent, that's fine. That's great, but,
Well, it was an interpretation of our, the trash enclosure at Sirens Hotel.
Yeah.
they were upset that it didn't go through a historic review, but it's not reviewable. It doesn't have a building permit for a trash
No,
enclosure.
no.
It's just something on a site plan that we make sure is there. And so, he just disagreed that it didn't require a permit, which really wouldn't be something that,
We would,
yeah, that's more teeth on interpretation of the building department and council, so, and we explained that. He's been very nice. He just, disagrees with our interpretation. There are, anytime anyone in the public disagrees with staff's interpretation of the code, they can go to the Board of Adjustment. So that avenue is always there.
Well, that's the key. If you give him, his options, and that's fine. But I think he came from somewhere where they had much stricter, which is possible. I mean, there are places that you can't change the paint on your building, you can't, they are so limited. I mean, not just voluntary compliance, but mandatory compliance. You cannot use these windows. We suggest you don't use these windows, which is and I have always say we are an advisory board. People come to us and we can tell them or hopefully guide them into the best historic way to do something, but we're not telling anybody, and as you say, that's a city ordinance type
Yes.
thing and not our problem. I mean,
That'd be anywhere in the city limits. Someone comes in, a commercial business wants to add a dumpster, we have a code that requires it's in an enclosure. So if they put one up without an enclosure, code enforcement can say, hey, you got to put it around it, but they don't have to get a building permit to put up the enclosure.
No.
And then I think because it is downtown, he was asking why I didn't have some type of architectural review, but we don't have that.
No. So in answer to that, I don't know whether he will come. I asked him to contact you because I knew I wasn't going to be here in February if we had the meeting in February. So if he wants to come in May, that's fine. Must be an Amber Alert.
Yeah.
oh, here they go.
No, it's just a test.
Blue.
Turn them down, Rick, turn them down.
I was wondering if it said Gotham City, like
His went
purple.
off.
That happened to me earlier on the way in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, me
Batman's
too.
finally calling me.
I know. That makes sense. It was
No, that just says this previous alert was a test.
Yeah, so that makes sense, because I was like, I don't think there's a Gotham City, Missouri.
Okay.
All right.
That's thrilling. Is there any further business?
I had I think it was 2 weeks ago, I think, Jamie, you sent out an email and it had like a punch list. There were like 3 or 4 grants on there for different items. Or was that you, Tyler? I just wanted to know if there's anything that we can or should be doing to help with any of those grants, or?
I mean, you send out opportunities quite often.
Every time that SHPO sends those emails, I just immediately
Forward them to us?
send them out directly. So as far as who's supposed to be sending those in, I don't have any.
Don't know. All right.
No, we
I was
keep
looking at
track
a
of
couple,
the.
I'm like, I got some time.
Yeah, if there was
careful what
anything
you
that, if there's anything in there that you guys catch that you think,
Could work.
yeah, then we can always
All right.
gauge, because they change it all the time. How it typically works, you can apply for 1 grant in a fiscal year. And
That's the
so,
stuff that I didn't know, and it
Yep.
wasn't perfectly clear to me in the
so,
Previously, Danielle and Bridget
would work on it.
would kind of pick those up and say, oh, we need to do this, or so.
yeah.
I'm not sure whose shoulders that should fall on now, but I think it's more of a group effort. If anyone sees that, thinks of something that
Okay.
could happen, then we just discuss it.
Good idea, Andrew.
Well, I noticed,
Well, it's one of those, from the hours of like 9:30 to 10:30 sometimes, I'm at home, I'm like, I can't fall asleep,
there's
I
a
got
spot.
nothing to do.
He's ready.
But,
Just keep sending them to Andrew.
I think you raised your hand.
well, I did, that's why I wanted to
Yeah.
say something, because there are substantial amounts of
Sure.
money there.
That's
So-
right.
I can just tell you from our point of view, on my organization, we get grant opportunities all the time. And there's so many opportunities out there. It's just taking the time. If you can set aside time to fill them out,
Right.
they're just like scholarships. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't.
Well, that, a T-Mobile.
Right. That's a
Yeah.
perfect
You-
example.
you
Yeah.
went to that, and
Yeah.
we got it, and that was like, wow.
Yep.
The other thing I noticed, she just sent us one that was talking about historic buildings matching upgraded, changing zoning codes, that it's very hard to do to renovate an existing historic building to match what's demanded by today's zoning codes. And I thought that looked interesting, but I'm not, but because you deal with that. I know you dealt with that with the farmer's market. the, with the staircase, and you made, and we worked with the building department and came with ways to adjust the renovation of the building to match, to be able to get the ability to have it occupied in 2 apartments and the whole bit. And we appreciate that because it's important that the engineering department is aware of this and will work with people who are seeking to, renovate. I mean, look at the shoe factory, but that was a whole nother story. But it's a challenge when you try and take a historic and put it into the 21st century codes. Okay, if we have nothing else, I'll hear one more motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Okay. Motion, second. Is there all in favor? Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you. And thank you all for coming. These spur-of-the-moment things do really well with people. This is good. You come, and I thank you.
Well, I think both of those redevelopments are going to be nice, so.
Yes.
I think you're right.
I'll read email.
Oh, it's sad, that the building on